Most people treat Lovable like a magic wand. They dump in a 500-word prompt, hit enter, and then act shocked when the entire app breaks in production. Here's what they don't understand. There is no such thing as a perfect prompt. I've built 14 production applications in Lovable over the last 12 months, and here's what I've learned. If you want to build software that actually scales, you have to stop treating AI like a genie that grants wishes, and start treating it like a junior developer who needs very specific professional guidance. Look, I get it. The promise of AI is that it should just work. But in reality, about 60% of builds fail in the first month because people skip the fundamentals. In this video, I'm sharing my 10 secrets for eliminating bugs and building production-grade software in Lovable, the exact checklist I use on every single client project. And if you want to learn how to build these systems yourself, check out Stack Labs in the description below. Or if you're a founder who needs this built for your business right away, head to foundana.com. Again, link in the description. So before we dive into all 10, let me give you a huge insight up front. Building with AI is not about writing better prompts. It's about thinking like a product owner. You need to know what you're building before you ask the AI to build it. You need to understand your data structure. You need to verify every step, and you need to plan for failure, not just success. These 10 secrets are the difference between a demo that looks good in a Loom video and a system that actually works when 500 real users hit it all at the same time. Secret number 1, think small. The absolute biggest mistake I see, and I mean everywhere, is people trying to build an entire feature in one massive prompt. They'll write something like, build me a user dashboard with analytics, payment integration, profile settings, and a notification system. And then they wonder why half of it doesn't work. Here's the rule. One thing at a time. Make incremental changes. And if you can't describe the change in one clear sentence, your prompt is probably too big. Instead of build a dashboard, try add a card component that displays total revenue for the current month. Then verify it works. Then move to your next piece. This is how you unlock production-grade code. Small, testable, verifiable steps. Secret number 2, plan the build up front. Before you even touch the chat interface, you need to know your user journey and the data structure. I'm talking about the key processes that users will go through and the tables needed to support this. How does data flow through the app? By thinking about this first, you'll better understand how your tables will be interacting, and you can verify the suggestions made by AI. Otherwise, you'll just be guessing. And guessing leads to bugs, and that takes 10 hours to fix. One of my clients tried to build a booking system without planning the database. 3 weeks later, they had 4 conflicting tables and no idea which one was the source of truth. Don't be that person. Plan first, build second. Secret number 3, actually read the responses. This sounds so obvious, but I'm telling you, most people just scan for the finish button. They see the AI spit out some code, they glance at it for 3 seconds and they hit apply. Stop doing that. Read the logic. The AI is proposing something, digest it, and challenge the thinking. If a suggestion doesn't feel right, ask for options. Ask, why did you choose this approach? Ask, what are the trade-offs here? Talk to the AI. Don't just type at it. It's making architectural decisions in real time. If you're not paying attention, you're letting a junior developer make senior level choices without supervision. That's how you end up with spaghetti code. Let me quickly tell you about a build where I learned this lesson the hard way. About 8 months ago, I was working on an internal tool for my own team. Basically, a user-generated content app for e-commerce brands. I'd been on a hot streak. Everything I touched was working. I was feeling invincible, so I got cocky. And then I messed up. I wrote an overly ambitious prompt. Something like, add an admin role that can see and manage all existing users and their project files. Basically, I asked the AI to build 3 major features at once. The AI churned for a minute, then it delivered. The UI looked gorgeous. A new admin dashboard, everything I asked for, it was all visually there. I was pumped. It was the end of the night, and I couldn't be bothered testing too much, and I didn't review its responses well enough. I signed off and went to bed. The next day, I started actually using it, and that's when everything fell apart. The admin access was overwriting the user projects every time they were viewed. And no, not in a good way, if there ever is actually a good way for that. Basically, they were being deleted. The UI looked perfect, but the logic was a complete mess. I spent 2 full days trying to patch it. Every fix broke something else. It was like playing whack-a-mole with bugs. Finally, I did what I should have done from the start. I reverted to the previous version prior to my terrible prompt, deleted all that work, and rebuilt it piece by piece. Dashboard first, verify it. Then user views, verify it. Then project views, verify it. Took me 1 hour instead of 2 days of debugging. That's when I realized the AI isn't magic, it's a tool. And tools require discipline. Secret number 4, don't ignore the smoke. In software, there is no such thing as a minor glitch. If a button flickers, there's a problem. If a redirect feels slow, there's a problem. If something almost works, but not quite, there is definitely a problem. These aren't quirks, these are symptoms, and if you ignore them, they will compound into potentially catastrophic failures down the line. Fix these issues systematically, not face value. Don't just patch the symptom, find the root cause and the logic. I had a client once who ignored a weird button flicker. Turned out it was a race condition in their database queries. By the time we found it, it had corrupted 200 user records. Don't ignore the smoke, put out the fire. Secret number 5, verify in the database. Don't just look at the screen, look in Supabase. Verify that entries are being created exactly when and where they're supposed to be. If the UI says success, but the database is empty, you have a silent killer. I check Supabase after every single major change, every single time, because the UI can lie to you, the database can't. This one habit has saved me dozens of hours of debugging. Quick pause. If you're finding this useful, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I drop videos on AI-powered development, no-code systems, and building real software every week. And comment below. Which of these secrets have you been ignoring? Be honest. I read every comment and I'll give you specific advice for your situation. Cool, let's keep going. Secret number 6, use real data. Testing with Test 123 and John Doe is a trap. You need to use real-world scenarios. Messy data, long names, special characters, multiple languages even. Test the edge cases. This is how you find the cracks before your users do. I once tested a form with clean, simple inputs, worked perfectly, shipped it. First real user, their company name had an ampersand in it. The entire form broke. Now I test with names like O'Brien and Sons LLC and emails like test+filter@domain.co.uk and phone numbers with weird formatting. Top tip, you can use the plus symbol in an email to send to the same address, but have it look like a different profile in the system. That's why it's good to test using this as well. Remember, real users don't behave like your test cases. They type weird stuff, they make mistakes, they use emojis where they shouldn't. Your system needs to handle that. Let me tell you about the time an edge case almost tanked a launch. I built a client audit system for a marketing agency. They needed clients to book a 30-minute session, pay a deposit, and get confirmation emails. We tested it, worked beautifully. Bookings flowed through, payments processed, emails sent, perfect. We launched on a Monday morning, and by Monday afternoon, I was getting panicked Slack messages saying that the system is rejecting half of the bookings. I jumped in to investigate. You know what the problem was? Some users were entering their phone numbers with spaces. As simple as that. Our form validation was expecting one specific continuous format. Anything else was being rejected. We didn't test it properly. We tested the happy path when users entered perfect data, but users aren't perfect. In short, we never tested the unhappy path. User enters weird data. Then what happens? We had no error handling, no validation messages, no fallback logic. So I simply turned off the validation. It was an optional field anyway, which is crazy. And once the call was booked, it went to a Zoom call. The phone number was, additional data we didn't really require. So before I ship anything now, I ask the AI, generate a test plan that includes 5 edge cases and 3 failure scenarios for this feature. Then I test every single one. Because the happy path is easy, it's the unhappy path that kills you in production. Secret number 7, build in debugging mechanisms. While you're building as well, not after. Ask the AI to add logs or status indicators, for example. Things like console logs, success messages, loading states, error displays, all these things. You can remove them later if you want, but it really helps during the build to see what's happening under the hood. I literally ask the AI, add console logs at every major step in this function so I can see the data flow. It takes 10 seconds to add, and it saves you hours of confusion when something goes wrong. If you can't see what's happening, you can't really fix it. Okay, secret number 8. Think about your unhappy path, as we just talked about. When you're planning a feature, Don't just think how it should work, think about how it will fail. What happens if the API is down? What if the user hits submit twice? What if they enter a negative number where you're expecting a positive one? Include these scenarios in your prompts. I literally write things like, build a payment form that handles the following failures: Stripe API timeout, duplicate submission, invalid card number, expired card. The AI will build error handling if you ask for it. But if you don't ask, it will often assume and think that everything's working perfectly. In production, nothing works perfectly. Secret number 9, and this is a biggie: use version control. One of the greatest powers in the modern stack is the ability to go back in time. Using GitHub, you can create checkpoints, commit your work regularly, and then if you hit a wall, you don't need to keep digging. You don't need to spend 6 hours trying to fix something that's fundamentally broken. Just revert back to the last working version and try a different approach. This is how you can easily roll back and fix errors quickly. I create a new commit after every major feature. In fact, Lovable will do this automatically. That way, if something goes sideways, I can roll back in 30 seconds instead of trying to manually undo a heap of changes. This has saved me countless hours of frustration. And last but not least, secret number 10, very important: deal with security immediately. If a security error pops up in Supabase, if there's a permission issue, if row-level security isn't configured properly, if an API key is exposed, literally stop everything. Do not move forward. Do not add more features. Do not tell yourself, I'll fix it later. Fix it now. Production-grade software is built on a foundation of trust, not just cool features. One misconfigured security rule can expose your entire database. One leaked API key can cost you thousands of dollars. So remember, security isn't a nice to have, it's the foundation. Fix security errors fast. Look, here's the shift that needs to happen. Building with AI isn't about being a prompt engineer who knows the magic words to make the computer do magic things. It's about being a product owner with high standards. You need to know what you're building. You need to verify every step. You need to think about failure modes. You need to treat the AI like it's a junior developer who's smart but inexperienced, because that's exactly what it is. And when you approach it that way, when you bring discipline, structure, and professional rigor to the process, you can build software that doesn't just work in a demo, but actually scales in production. And this is seriously solid software too. I've seen people build entire SaaS products in Lovable in under 2 weeks using these principles. Products with real users, real revenue, real scale. But they didn't get there by dumping prompts and hoping for the best. They got there by mastering the fundamentals. And if you want to see these 10 secrets in action, if you want the specific checklists I use before I ship any feature, or the exact prompts I write to help in setting up a project, come join me in Stack Labs community. We're not just teaching people how to use AI tools, we're turning automators into real software architects. Link is in the description. Or if you're a business owner who just wants a system that isn't just built with AI, but is built to last, if you want software your business can rely on, that's custom built for your team, but it's not just a pretty demo, reach out to us at Foundana.com. We'll audit your needs, map out the right architecture, and build it the right way from day one. Stop fighting your tools and start mastering them.